Welcome back.
Objection!
Objection. Whether or not they are of concern, it is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Nice. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korokuto-san. Indeed, alone he was the Englishman, dining all by himself. Oh, let me press for that. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on the point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table, a meal for one. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Alright, let's see. Let's check out the evidence I got. Let's examine this. Can I examine that? That's crazy. Let's press this and just see what we get from there. No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a slightly different... we have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Attention! The sound of the fire rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Sure. And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korikuto-san? Okay, let's press this, see what we got. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time, but I've told you already, that's only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I just finished drinking my coffee and was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up, and at the exact moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry? What do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the kaban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Okay, and then I pressed that one. I pressed that one, and I have not pressed this one. Why aren't you telling me the truth? Well, what did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed, but for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press X and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use RRRR. Yep. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using LLLLL, you can move to the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that you may have missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, that means you got the spot. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. And by medical report card, I mean see if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use RRR, LLL, and X to inspect any areas of the evidence that look suspicious. Name. Let's see. It says Hata Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I'd ever had in my life, and I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Looks like that could be open. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of a long-time treatment, that's why. With the family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So you don't like doctors then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege, all when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient, with a bad case of stubbornness no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Why was that still shining? Yeah, let me get that open. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and then there's an entry for the day that the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they'd used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. The medical report card's information has been updated in the court record. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So, I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Is it the visual one, or is it this one? No one other than the... Let's see. That one's saying no one other than him. Oh, I didn't mean to do this. So the change though, no discrepancies come to light, and that's what we need. Oh, I think the situation has changed a great deal. We've come a long way. How so? Because we've just what we need. It's simply a case of using it to our advantage now. Then do you mean there is a discrepancy somewhere? I know there is, I just gotta find it. The crucial point is, the victim had been prohibited from consuming anything but water when he was shot. The fact has not yet been brought to the court's attention. He's right, thinking about Dr. Wilson's circumstances at the time of the incident puts that particular statement in a totally different light. Always keep your eye on the progress of the battle. That's the only sure way to win.
Yes!
Let's present that. That statement is clearly odd. No, it's not? Okay. What appears to be odd is the way you're presenting yourself. Oh, pay no attention, Your Excellency. As you wish. Now kindly lower your hand. Never, not until I've proven that I'm innocent here. Okay, so that was the wrong one. Clown shoes.
Yes!
Did I just present that back? Oh no, I think it took one. Oh no, it did. Oh no. What would it be? It's gotta be this, right? But to who? Well, what about that last statement made by the witness? It seems perfectly reasonable to me. Exactly. Perfectly reasonable in every way. Perhaps you should take a leaf out of the witness's book and learn to be more reasonable yourself. Ooh. Alright, just need to calm down and think everything through again from the start. Maybe this one? Because he couldn't be dining alone.
Yes!
Okay, that's what it was. The music stopped. Whew, I was about to get clapped. Well, I think, and what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. You'll get your prize later. Mwah. Korikuta-san. This is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what it is written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly... This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hata Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating? Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korikuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Ah! Expertly done, partner. They always gotta pause on the partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense? You little upstart. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Counsel? Oh, that's me. That means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been the victim himself, me, the two witnesses, and as yet unknown third party. Obviously, it could have only been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no third person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. Or, we have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? One Piece style. Don't worry, counsel, I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them, those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if that turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! No, negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what the told us. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korekuto-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders. Now, hold on, lad. I was, So you never saw the gentlewoman? Grr. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order. Counsel, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't... This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Archie had any idea about this. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there was nothing else we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it is proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, no time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout it out the first thing that comes to my head. Oh wait, hold on. We're gonna have to re-examine some things. Ah, the symbol of the Yume University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like this spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although it does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on the badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders? A sharp pin for a sharp mind or something? My personal student number is engraved in the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as a Yume student at the university. You may not come in, they say. Of course, you can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere, but then forget not to mention, but not to forget that. What am I doing here? I'm just... Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... the butler, would it not be?
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier. Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If you truly were? Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence. Okay, there's evidence. Well, that's unexpected. What is? That we will have to continue this on next episode, which should come out shortly. I will probably just do these, maybe like a day apart, maybe something like that. But feel free to like, subscribe if you like it, and then I do stream on Twitch. It's probably linked on my YouTube, and catch me streaming something sometime. So thanks for stopping by.